Howdy, y'all. It is me, Robert Tools with Souls. I hope you're all having a great evening. I know I am, although my Atlanta Falcons just absolutely look like trash today. I can't say as to where I'm surprised because that's pretty much their MO. One thing you have to learn as a Falcon fan is disappointment is your friend. But what isn't disappointing is our topic for the evening, because we're going to be going through the tool brands. We're going to be talking about what maybe their New Year's resolutions should be. How you doing, Tyler? And what I mean by that is what we would like to see from each of the brands as far as maybe tools you want to see them come out with or updates. Maybe it's even things you wish they'd stop making. I know there certainly are a couple of them that I wish would just stop making some stuff. So we're going to talk about that. But before we get started, I am going to acknowledge the members that are here right now. That is Paul W. Thank you for being a member, Paul. I appreciate you. Robert Walton is also here. And we also have friends of the channel like Dan B., Tyler Henry. Let me see. Panther is here. Look at this. You see, you get that beautiful little logo next to your name when you're a member. We like to see that. Gentlemen on this channel, Shaka Gillis. You got the whole Makita Brokeback Mountain look going on tonight. I wore it just for you because I knew you'd be in your Ryobi drill dough closet. Cody Brown, how you doing? Dewalt has been killing it in the tool game lately. We'll talk about it. My channel, look at this. Otters everywhere. I love otters. That's why they are there. Yes, you are a member. What's up, Mark Austin? How you doing? Hello, Ridgid here. Way to go. Love Ridgid here. Big Red Farmer, how you doing? Glad to see you again. So what kind of started this off? Every year you do New Year's resolutions that nobody keeps, right? Lose weight, grow hair, get a girlfriend, whatever. I don't know what they are. I don't know what yours are. I don't even make a New Year's resolution myself. But I thought maybe if it was for another brand, like if it was for a tool brand, maybe it's something that we could work on together. Now, I'm going to let you guys decide which one is the first one we discuss. Is that good? Let Tools know his membership was the iodine. I can't afford both. Well, you know. Sergey! What's up, buddy? This year, I make monthly goals to improve myself. I make daily goals, but my penis never grows. So it is what it is. We are going to talk about Makita. But I'm going to let you guys decide what brand we're going to talk about first. It could be any brand. I don't really care. How's it going, South Florida Tool? It looks like you guys are picking Dewalt right now. Dewalt needs to come out with new carpenter tools, track saw, whatever. They have a 60-volt track saw. I don't know that they need to come out with it, but they've got one, and it's probably the best out there. What's going on, South Florida? Richard Hosey. Mine was buy more tool. Let's do Cobalt first. Blue 97 says Bauer. Kansas Tool says Hitachi, which isn't even around anymore. Played the worst game of the year today. At least they didn't play the Cowboys. Have you heard of Total Drills and other tools? No. Let's talk about the unbranded sockets sets that just say Taiwan. All right. The Flex Volt track saw sucks. Go Pack Go. All right. So you guys are picking Dewalt. So here's what I want to see from Dewalt. How you, boy, Ram? I want to see him come out with actual new tools. See, the problem is that they've been, for the last half of the year, they've been selling, or last year, they've been selling their old stock, trying to get rid of it. The problem with that is that they were lesser tools, lesser quality. They didn't have power or performance. And when you're pushing that out to a brand as your brand and showing people that that's your brand, then it kind of gets a kick in the gonads, if you will, because it doesn't make a whole lot of sense. I get that they need to get rid of that old stock because they hadn't been selling it very well, but there was a reason they didn't sell it well. I want to see them come out with some new tools, update that Flex Volt line, because let's face it, the 998, the 999 are just too big to be practical on the job site. When you throw that Flex Volt battery on there, it becomes ridiculous. Happy New Year, comments Z. More power with the Power Stack batteries in mind. They don't seem to pack a whole lot of extra punch. At least the 5 amp hour battery doesn't. It gives you about roughly the equivalent of an 8. So there you go. Spend too much on Milwaukee. Actually, good new tools, not a new line of tools to add to the millions of choices already. Just a good upgraded tool selection for all main tools. How about making a DIY track instead of buying an expensive track saw? I think track saws are more reliable, which is why there's certain variations that you get with the ones that you make at home that they just can't accommodate for. I thought for sure you guys would be more into this, like talking about what you wanted to see from the brands as far as things you want to see them come out with. But I could have been wrong. I'm always willing to be wrong. So very few of us are. From Milwaukee and Ridgid. I'd like to discuss not a brand, but an accessory. Battery adapter. So ridiculous. Your tool almost doubles in size, not to mention safety. Some tool batteries have technology, some brands in the tool. Well, my problem with, where's Cooch? He's sick. My problem is with the battery adapters that you can buy. Right? They're only 2-pronged. So it's just positive and negative, which means you could drain that battery to dead. You could damage the cells that are in it. There is no overheat protection. There is no overload protection in those. So I don't use them, and I don't recommend people using them. I think they're a negative, and I don't like them. Now, if, like, I know you weren't wrong about that hat. Dude, I love this hat. My problem with the battery adapters is just what I said, but it could end up being something like what happened to Apple, where the government, and we all know how well they do stuff, and don't get me started on that, but how well the government gets involved in things, and they might make it so that you have to get a universal battery at some point. I hope not, because I think it's garbage. I think they should stay out of it. I think the manufacturers know what they're doing as far as the battery techs, except for Makita, because they just don't change their crap. But for Dewalt, I would love to see Dewalt come out with a new baseline for their Flex Volt and Power Detect tools. Tools that are smaller, kind of like the Milwaukee Fuel, hammer drill, and impact driver, how small and compact they are, but how powerful they are. Because they blow the DeWalts out of the water. I do like the DeWalt has the 3-speed. I really do like it. I use an adapter. I had to rewrite it, though. All right. I cannot switch from DeWalt to anything else. Bought some tools, and they do not break. No one's asking you to change. I've never asked anybody to change their brand. A light. What is this? I would like to see... Sorry. I would like to see more kits that don't have a light or a drill an impact driver, 4 other tools. What exactly is the difference between a hammer drill and an SDS drill? Well, size for one. I mean, a hammer drill is much smaller, can typically be turned into just a standard drill or into a screwdriver in essence. A rotary hammer, which is what a SDS, what you're referring to, a rotary hammer is only for concrete work. It takes certain types of bits, and while you can do some screwing into it, it's with a specialized bit. The SDS part is actually the type of bit that goes into the rotary hammer. It is not that. Oh, you had to rewire it. How do you think the Dewalt 20-volt trimmers are? I don't buy them. I don't buy the 20-volt trimmers from Dewalt. The 20-volt OPE from Dewalt, by and large, is just trash. I've got their pruner. People tell me it's great. There's at least 5 other brands that make a better one that's brushless. So I avoid the 20-volt OPE stuff because I think it's just trash. Where are Ridgid drawers? Well, mine's right here at the corner of my desk. But you'll have to go into Top Stock. You'll have to look in the rafters at Home Depot for those because they don't have a space on the floor. They're supposed to be in the no home section. There's no space on the floor for them yet. So you'll have to go into the stores and look up above in the rafters. Please hit the like button. Thank you. Get the flex volt trimmer. Exactly. If you're going to get into the Dewalt OPE, make sure it's flex volt. As electric cars are coming out and learning about lithium batteries and fires, I'd like to see new battery tech or a new chemical for batteries and tools. Lithium explosions are no joke. These tools aren't drawing the wattage of those others, so I don't really see a problem with it. What's your favorite Milwaukee tool of 2023? It's the track saw. With ease, it's the track saw. They don't use the same chemistry. No, they don't. The cellular structure of those bigger batteries in cars can make them volatile because you're adding so much of certain volatile elements to them that if they can combine or connect, it could create additional power surges that will eventually heat and, not be good. What about brands like Tough Built or Husky? What would you like to see from them in 2024? That's a great question, Panther. So like what I'm looking at for Tough Built, like their screwdrivers, the handles are a bit bulky. I don't like the look of their pull saw. I don't like the bulk of a lot of their hand tools. That being said, every single one of those tools seems to be great. Their new, whatever they're calling it, tool storage system, the Tough Storage, whatever it's called, looks absolutely phenomenal. And I really hope that they continue into that. I would love to see one come out with a cabinet you can attach some of your boxes to the side. I would love to see that. While not mobile, it allows you to keep certain things, like keep them together. Because if you notice, most of these tool brands are doing things where, excuse me, where you can have more wall mount storage. And that's exactly what I'm thinking with that. More of that wall mount stuff and whatnot. Do I think that Ridgid tools sacrifices quality over Milwaukee tools? No. I don't think that Ridgid has the variety that Milwaukee has. Certainly they do not. But as far as the core tools go, drill, impact driver, recip saw, circ saw, whatever, they are on par. They're a step below. But that's because, and I've got a video coming out trying to explain this to you guys. So Ryobi is what you use to maintain a home. Ridgid is what you use to build a home. Milwaukee is what you use to build a business. I don't know if that makes sense to everybody, but that's kind of how I have it situated in my mind. And that's kind of how I think of those brands. You can say Milwaukee, Dewalt, Ridgid, Makita, Ryobi, Makita, because Makita is kind of, it really is becoming a lesser brand with a good reputation. Dewalt impact drivers blow 100%. I would love to see them, even though they've come out with 3 new impact drivers in the last 2 years. Not one of those 3 is capable of keeping up with most of the upper tier brands. And because they don't keep up with the upper tier brands, it's hard to recommend DeWalt as a line, because the impact driver is one of your core tools. Is Ridgid part of TTI? No. Ridgid is made by TTI. Ridgid is owned by Emerson Electric. TTI is paid by Emerson Electric to produce tools for on the Ridgid name with the Ridgid logo and designed to the specifications that Emerson Electric decides. What's up, Diligent Dave? But no, Ridgid is not owned by Milwaukee or TTI. I'm a Milwaukee guy. Which one do I think is better, DeWalt or Milwaukee? It's personal preference. You know, what works for me might not work for you. I prefer Milwaukee, but only for certain things. I'm not a brand loyalist. I like certain things that every brand comes out with, except for Makita. I like certain things that every brand comes out with, and I think they're just awesome. So it's kind of pick your poison on that one. I'm a Milwaukee guy, 10 plus years. I'm not switching now too deep in batteries. Last year, Hercules showed real progress. They then kind of dropped off. I like to see more of a variety of tools. I would love to see Harbor Freight invest in Hercules the way they have in Bauer. The Bauer stuff is kind of Ryobi. It's maintenance level. It's not build level. It's maintenance level stuff. I think the Hercules brand, if they expanded, got rid of their 12-volt line, because their 12-volt line is absolute trash, but got rid of their 12-volt line, invested more into that 18-volt line, and expanded it, heavily expanded it. I'd love to see that, and I think that would be a definite worthwhile adventure or investiture for them. But I don't know that that's going to happen. Harbor Freight knows that the people that go there aren't serious tool guys for the most part. Now, there's some guys that go there that are serious, don't get me wrong, but for the most part, they are not serious tool guys. They are guys that are looking for the cheap, for lack of a better word. So I would love to see them invest more into that, but they know that Bauer brand being so cheap is where people are going to spend their money that are going there. They're not going to go in and be able to justify another $20 to $30 to get a blue a blue version of a tool. You know, that it just doesn't make sense. Earthquake XT are Taiwanese made. Well, that's good to know. Harbor Freight added me as a member on Facebook. The rumor is that Hercules was designed by an engineer that used to design Milwaukee. If that were the case, then they would be much better. They're not. They're on a tier kind of between Ryobi and Ridgid. They're kind of like same level as Cobalt at Lowe's. They don't really have a home. Oh, look at this. Boom. They just told me to insert an ad on you guys. I just want you to know that. Icon is a pretty serious tool brand. Yeah, but you don't see a lot of dudes going in to buy Icon. You don't see a lot of serious tool guys, period, going into Harbor Freight. Sorry. Woo. Be careful spending money at Harbor Freight. There are videos out there showing that they contribute to politically. That doesn't bother me. It's a business. They're free to put their money wherever they damn well please, as I am free not to. New Hercules brushless 20-volt line is a fun line. Novelty at the point unit, they develop more depth. Tools like women's. Everyone wants a better one, but live with what you have. That's cute, Sergey. I like it. For me, and I've said it 1,000 times on the channel, I'll continue to say it. I don't think you should be invested in just one line, because no one line makes the best tools in everything. There are certain tools, whether you're a homeowner, a builder, or a business owner, there are certain tools that fit into each one of those categories. And some of, like, I'll be honest with you guys, hate me for this one, Milwaukee M12, they only have certain tools that are professional quality. The fuel stuff, not all of it's professional grade. A lot of it is, you know, that maybe serious home DIYer or DIY level. And while that might sound kind of offensive to you because you're like, oh no, it's a fuel, it's great, whatever, especially if you're a Milwaukee fanboy, the M12 oscillating tool is absolute trash. M12 sanders, TTI as a company doesn't make a good sander. I don't know that they know how to make a good sander. So if somebody said, hey, instead of getting the TTI version of the Milwaukee M12 version, if I went and did this for, I got a fine, or I got a Dewalt, or I got something else. Well, that makes all the sense in the world to me. You don't need to be invested in just one line. No, the fact of the matter is that you can find better tools for the better tools, the more you diversify your lineup. Now, I'm not saying go out and get 50 different things like 50 different brands or whatever. I'm not saying that. What I'm saying is, you know, kind of mix and match some of those specialty tools that you're going to be using for higher level stuff. That'll make more sense to you than sticking with one brand and getting a bad tool that you're constantly having to replace or take back to the store to get replaced or get fixed. No, you're better off maybe taking, instead of getting the Milwaukee sander, get a Flex sander, or get a Dewalt sander, or get a Bosch sander, you know, for that one tool. You don't have to buy a heavy amount of batteries if you're only running that one tool. That makes a lot of sense to me. There's a skill drill that has a light ring. Yeah. DeWalt is the same way. XR is supposed to be pro Atomic is supposed to be homeowner. Yeah. Dewalt as a company, like I was thinking about this the other day. Just in their drills, like certain tools, you got to really question if they have an idea of where they want to go. You know, because I think right now on market they have seven, 8 or 9. It's right up there. Different versions of hammer drills. Of those 7 different versions of hammer drill, 4 of them, the Flex Volt, the Power Detect, the 996, and I want to say, I can't remember, it was the 995 or the 997, it was one of those. They all had the exact same specs. Well, you know, it's not Makita. Makita does that with their 27 different angle grinders, and 7 of those are just a different color, but they're the exact same angle grinder. But you know, that way they can inflate their numbers. But it's just kind of ridiculous that they have that many. Whereas you look at Milwaukee, they've got the M12 fuel. Okay. They have the brushless. Okay. They have the 2904. And I think they've got a brushed hammer drill that no one on earth would ever buy. Let's talk about that. Milwaukee should absolutely get rid of every single brushed line of tool that they have. Get rid of it. Nobody wants that crap. If you buy it, you end up talking trash about Milwaukee and telling everybody it's crap. But it's really, you just bought crap because you got the brushed garbage because it was cheap. I want to see them focus more on that brushless, making the brushless line, which is the non-fuel line, making that brushless line their introductory line. And then have the fuel line as their pro line. They use the M12 as the DIY level. I know, controversy. Why anybody makes a brush tool right now is dumb. It's because they're cheap. All those companies have those old little brush motors sitting around, so you're getting them for pennies. And that allows you to make a cheap tool that'll get people to buy into your battery line. Once they buy into your battery line, it's pretty much bohica. And if you don't know what bohica means, it's an Indian term. It means bend over. Here it comes again. Metabo HPT is legit. I love the Metabo line. That's a line, as much as I love them, I just don't know what their future is. Do they fit in Lowe's anymore? Or do they have a future? Like the new Bolt, even the new Bolt doesn't keep up with the higher end stuff. So you're looking at bringing in a new line and already having to discount it in order to keep people in the line or keep getting sales. It doesn't make a whole lot of sense that they have that. What I would like to see from Metabo is an overall upgrade in a lot of their tools, more focus on the 36 volt as opposed to the 18 volt. You know, unfortunately, I hate to say it, but they should follow more into the footsteps of Makita in this respect, and that they should follow and getting the bigger stuff, because their 18 volt stuff isn't up to snuff with the price point that they're charging. Because frankly, you can get a Ridgid that easily outperforms an 18 volt, and you can pay less for the Ridgid. You can get a Cobalt XTR that easily outperforms a Metabo 18 volt. So they need to focus on more of their 36 volt area and really work it. Now we'll get back to Milwaukee. Milwaukee should focus on expanding their professional line. That what do they call it? The MX line, the bigger line. I want to see them truly take over, especially where the concrete heavy industrial building. I want to see them push into that area. They came out with some new tools this past year that absolutely blew me away with the amount of power that they had and what they could do. And I would love to see them move more into that, hi Clem, more into doing some of that stuff. And then on their M18 line, like I said, get rid of the brushed. No one buys that garbage anyway, at least not knowingly. Focus more onto that M18 line, brushless, expand that brushless line up to make it a truly DIY friendly, higher end DIY friendly line. And then keep up the great work that they've been doing with the fuel. I don't really think Milwaukee has to do as much as other companies like Dewalt. What's up, CNF? What is this? I am in 25 brands because I'm not sure because I bought the best price and tool that I could afford. I don't want to be a fanboy. My collection is a melting pot of brands. I'm with you. MX Random Orbit Sander. Let's talk about it. That would be their new 16-inch sander. That'd be funny. Bosch makes good tools but can't find a market. Metabo, Ridgid, even Flex are in the same boat. It's advertising. Yeah, Bosch being, I believe at one time, and they might still be, the largest tool manufacturer in the world. It's not like they don't have the dollars. It's just that in the United States, Bosch does not focus on making headway into that professional market with their power tools. Now, with their accessories, Diablo being the most obvious, they pretty much dominate that space. You go to any job site, you're going to see Diablo saw blades, Diablo cutting blades for your drywall or your oscillating tool. You're going to see Dremel, like little Dremel tools for woodworking and whatnot. They dominate in those areas. But as far as their power tools go, they don't focus as much on the power tools here in the U.S. because they've got such a strong foothold in other countries and in other areas that the U.S. market kind of passed them by probably 15 years ago, if I'm being honest. And while I love their tools, what's up, John? Humongous, how you doing? While I love those tools, damn, I just don't know that they have a real market in the U.S. for that. And again, I love Bosch. Now let's talk about the elephant in the room. You guys know where I'm going to go with this one. Bosch laser levels are everywhere here too. Yeah, absolutely. Let's talk Makita. Anybody have a guess as to what I want to see from Makita this year? Do you have any input on the Milwaukee M12 fuel die grinder? Yeah, it's decent. However, I think you actually get more power out of the Ryobi 18 volt, if I'm not mistaken. Just take a look at that. The Bosch jigsaw is fantastic. It is. Bosch makes great tools. I'm not knocking Bosch in any way. Makita to go away. What's up, TC Kid Solo? Subscriber number 1 right there. Bankruptcy for Makita. 4-inch square sander to get in corners instead of buying a mouse sander. No, I think you absolutely should have a detailed sander as opposed to a quarter sheet. There you go. To pack up and leave, declare bankruptcy. So if you guys didn't know, if you guys didn't know, Makita is kind of in trouble, especially here in the American market. I mean, just in the last year, they closed 2 facilities. They fired half of their employees. They fired their CEO. The new CEO said they need a total rebrand if they're going to stay in North America. Let's see. They did not, or they do not have any R&D. They're not working on lithium pouch cell batteries, at least not that they've announced. Let's see. Oh, and going into the third quarter of this year, they had lost $600 million with the expectation of losing $1.1 billion for 2023 alone, meaning that from 2019 to 2023, they went from making $3.1 billion in the US to losing $1.1 billion. That's amazing. And what I think the most amazing part of that is they've been doubling down on the reasons that they had been losing, and it makes no sense. Their big innovation for 2022, I think, was the color green. This year, it was camping equipment. Makes no sense to me. You're either a power tool brand or a brand for housewives. And for me, Makita is a brand for housewives. It's a DIY level. It is no longer professional. It's a DIY level tool. They do not have the power, the performance, the speed to keep up with better brands, other brands. Their price point is ridiculous. Even a serious DIYer, if you're looking at Makita, you might as well go to Festool as opposed to Makita. Their subcompact line is trash. Their 12-volt line is trash. Their 18-volt line is trash. Their 40-volt line is trash too. They really don't have a place on a job site outside of circular saws and maybe 1 or 2 other pieces of equipment. Their rebar tire is pretty nice, but other brands are going to come out with that'll blow it away. I want to see for Makita a total rebrand. I want to see them just get rid of all this stuff. Quit making 27 different angle grinders, all with the same specs. Make one that's good. Not too much to ask. How about come out with a battery tech from, I don't know, like 2020? It's ridiculous that they're this far behind. Where is Porter Cable? Is that Zapetco? Zapateco? It's Tractor Supply. That's the only place you can buy Porter Cable right now. What made Makita? A buyout. No R&D. Really makes no sense. Makita needs to redesign. Yeah, they don't even have 21700 cells in their batteries for their 18-volt tools, only in their 40-volt tools, which is ridiculous. A microwave is, look at this. So $1,000 microwave won't save Makita? No, but that's a great point. That just doubles down on my point that this is a brand that is for the DIYer. It's for the housewife. They've got a coffee maker. They have camping equipment. They have a microwave. I think they even have like a little mobile cart, an 18-volt mobile garden cart. Things that you're not going to use on the job site. First of all, I don't recall ever being on a job site where a microwave came up. If we had to leave, like we wanted to get away from what we were doing and go, what do you think of the Milwaukee heated jacket? I think they're great. I love the heated jackets. They definitely keep you warm. I like that you can run them on the 12-volt tool, the 12-volt batteries, which takes a little bit of the bulk out. There's so many of the different ones out there. And right now I know of places that you can buy them for under $200. Makita has a cooler. Makita is the new Ryobi. I wouldn't insult Ryobi that way. Any word on whether Ridgid is going to drop a pouch cell battery? I suspect that you'll hear this year that both Ridgid and Ryobi are going to offer lithium pouch cell batteries. You should show Smurf holding a Makita tool. No, she doesn't want to be on camera. I'll test their tools if it can be reinvented, and then no. Electric blanket. I didn't know they had an electric blanket, for Christ's sakes. Battery fire. Next time I'm camping, I'm freezing like endless fresh hot pockets and pizza rolls and grabbing the Makita microwave. You and Jeremy must go camping together. Just plug in a lunch with some coffee. Yeah, that makes sense. If you've got a big enough generator. What's your thoughts on Master Force from Menards? First of all, I don't own any of their tools. I've looked at their tools. I have thought about buying their tools. And it's not like I'm discriminatory in any way because I own 48, soon to be 49, maybe 50 different battery platforms. I've bought into that many different battery platforms. My problem with Menards is, one, very limited availability. Two, the warranty isn't there for me to justify buying them. Three, every time I have seen them used, I have always gone like, oh, all right. They're nothing to write home about. Great looking tools. I love green. It's my favorite color. Great looking tools. I love Menards. I go there all the time. But for me, Master Force just, it's. If you ever watch the old Looney Tunes cartoons, right? You had the Roadrunner, Bugs Bunny, Daffy Duck, right? They're like the Porky Pig's girlfriend. I don't even remember her name. I love to see Ridgid drop some stacked lithium. But given that they just released 21700 cells, remember it is not uncommon for Ridgid. And if you've been watching Home Depot as far as Ridgid goes, first of all, you're going to notice the new trim router, which is all metal through here, not plastic like mine. But the new trim router is already on clearance. 70 Petunia. Sorry, my bad. It's already on sale or on clearance for $70. The hammer drill, the high torque hammer drill, is starting to go on clearance. The four tool combo kit that includes the mid torque drill, the 3-mode impact driver, and all that. That's all starting to go on clearance. It's $301 right now for a 4-tool Ridgid kit. Tells me that you might be seeing some new ones from Ridgid coming out in the next year or in this year. And those new tools might carry that stack. And now I have no insider information on this. I'm just going by what I see, knowing Ridgid brand, having been bought into the Ridgid brand for so long. Yes, Master Force is from Siobhan. And just like skill could go away. Outside of the skill saw, everything else they make is shit. I would love to see skill go away. I find no value in their Power Core 20 or Power Core 12. I think they're all trash. What I would love to see from skill is tools that are worth buying. That'd be a nice little change. Best tool warranty out there right now, it's got to be Flex because it's a full lifetime warranty. If it wasn't Flex, it would definitely be Ridgid, lifetime service agreement, tools, battery, charger, free tools, free service for life. Have you ever been in Thiessens? I live outside. No, I have never been there, Big Red. I'm calling this Flex has been pulling their impact drivers, and next gen impact driver will have a halo light like Skill Master Force, but other Chevron products. That would be nice. Sorry, somebody said, I think it was Daniel Gomez. Yeah, I got that one. The Master Force impact driver is the size of a small SUV. Yeah, it's not great. Isn't the Skill 12 volt isn't compact at all? No reason to buy. I agree with that. I don't dislike Skill. I'll say this. I got a 4-tool combo kit from them a number of years ago. Like 2 or 3 years ago, first year of the channel. And for Christmas, I gave away 4 of those kits. One of the winners was my brother. I refused to send him the kit because I had used the drill and the impact driver, and these are their Power Core 20, and they were so bad, I refused to send them to him. So I bought him a Ryobi set instead. So how bad are the Skill tools that I would rather send somebody Ryobi than Skill? And I had to pay more for the Ryobi. I'm just saying, it's just not my cup of tea. A lot of people love the brand. I am not one of those. Petunia Pig have lost DeWalt, or lots of DeWalt in Milwaukee. WK3660. New here. Have you ever done test reviews on miter saws or just smaller power? I have done. I have done reviews on miter saws. As a matter of fact, I've got the greatest, most beautiful miter saw out there. Okay, it's just my opinion, definitely a skewed opinion, because I had to convince my wife to let me buy it. But I got the Ridgid with the articulating arms, and we did a 6-hour round trip to go buy one, to find out that the store we had gone to didn't have it, and then I had to pay to have one shipped to my house. So I definitely wanted that Ridgid miter saw. I've done reviews on like the Admiral miter saw from Harbor Freight. So yeah, I've definitely done those. I've done bigger tools. I've done I've got a Delta table saw I've done. So I definitely do bigger tools. My channel was originally supposed to be a woodworking channel, but nobody watched the woodworking stuff. You all watch me play with drills and impact drivers. So I just give you what you want. When do you think the standard flex batteries will go back in stock in Lowe's? I don't think they will. If you call Lowe, if you call Flex now, they're not sending you the cylinder cell batteries. What they're doing is they're sending you lithium pouch cell batteries. So I don't know that they'll be, at least not real soon. And I could be wrong on that. I don't have any inner workings with Flex, but I'm just looking at what they're doing, and I'm like, no, I have no idea. It doesn't look good. I want a Skill drill impact driver. Felt like Master Force to me, which feels like Fisher Price. You should have sent your brother at least Ridgid. Keep orange. No, he's not. My brother might use tools once a decade. I was not going to send him good tools for once a decade, but I was going to send him something better than freaking Skill. I was excited thinking you had a Festool miter saw. Let me down by Ridgid. Shaka. If you haven't used the Ridgid, you don't know. That's all I'm going to say to you. That's all I'm going to say. You guys tell me what you think of this. All right. Sorry, I'm going to take off my hat for a second because we're talking serious right now. With the growing popularity of track saws and the number of guides that you can get that are very good, and some of the new DeWalt Like they have a new base for your regular circ saw that just clips in. Are these tools making table saws obsolete? You know, it's funny that it sounds like a stupid question just on the surface of it. Because if you don't really think about it, you'll be like, no, there's always a place for a table saw. Table saws are big, they're bulky, they take up a lot of room in your shop. If you've got a nice table saw, like I've got a nice table saw, not a great table saw, I have a nice table saw. If you've got a nice table saw, it becomes the centerpiece of your shop, and everything has to be maneuvered around it. Like it's got its place. That's where it stays. That's where you're going to get your best cuts. But with these track saws that are coming out, the fact that more and more people, Lee, I'm with you, more and more people are relearning how great things like the radial arm saw are, or the sliding miter saw. You know, with the stuff like that coming out or coming back, it makes me think, like, where does the table saw really fit in? What are track saws used for? It's a great question. It's mainly for ripping sheet goods, ripping long boards, cutting the front of your deck so everything is level or even. They have a lot of uses. Basically, the way I think of them is that they are a mobile or a more mobile version of a table saw. Everything that you can do with a table saw, you can do with a track saw. So, table saws are good for repeated cuts. Track saws, you'll have to reset. Well, that's very true. That's a very good point. However, I will say that there are guides out there that literally you can set and forget for those repeated cuts. Just throwing that out there. I'm not arguing with you. I'm just saying. 6 amp hour did not have all the YouTube woodworkers switched from Ryobi to Festool. The ones I watch still have a little bit of both. I just see track saws are for decks. Man, I would feel that way if I didn't use them, if I didn't know. Like I could definitely see where people would feel that way. Are moving the saw through material. Table saw, you're moving the material through the saw. That's true. Here's what I'd like to see from Ridgid this year. I want to see them expand. They came out with 23 tools last year. They came out with, I want to say 21 the year before. I want to see them expand their pro gear. I want to see them expand their higher end brushless. I would love to see everybody get away with or get rid of brush tools. You could just use a circular saw down the edge of a sheet of plywood like I do if I'm in a hurry. I can't do that because I have Parkinson's disease. I cannot hold my hands steady while I do that. So a track saw for me was something that was absolutely essential to get. I had asked people about it, and yeah, we ended up going with it. You're not going to use a track saw to cut a 1-inch strip. I would. You need to go check the channel. There is something for everyone. Yeah, what my favorite comment are the people that call me a fanboy of any particular brand, because I'm like, yeah, you ain't watched nothing. I talk smack about every brand. Not just Makita. I talk smack about every brand. I'm not brand loyal in the least. I want to go with the best bang for my buck, the best value, and that's what I focus on. So there you go. What do I want to see from? What do you guys want to see from Ryobi this year? I know I called them Ryobi. If you looked at the thumbnail, Ryobi and Makita. Everybody else had the right name. What do you guys want to see from Ryobi this year? I don't think they will ever sell well as long as they're sold at the same place as Milwaukee. Depot has more Ridgid clearance than any other brand. I agree. Hello, Zul Kiffy. Nice to see you. What's the time there? 7:55. Makita 12 volt is severely under. They need to just get rid of that 12 volt garbage. Do you think the AC DC adapters for the flex table saw will work with the rest of their tools? They should. I mean, it depends on the draw, but they should. I saw a news piece where a guy in the Detroit car assembly line uses Ryobi impacts. That kind of explains a lot right there. I had to say this is my only miter saw is a made in Japan Makita. It's like 35 years old. I'm not going to call you out. I want Ryobi to realize they're not as good as Ridgid and adjust their prices. Oh, I agree with that 1,000,000%. The price of their first of all, the names are stupid. HP1 Plus. That whole gimmick, right? Where they're trying to be a pro grade brand, they need to quit. Ryobi is not a pro grade brand. Their 40 volt OPE outdoor power equipment might be nice, but their 18 volt stuff, they need to just stop. Go back to doing what you did well. Make entry level DIY tools that keep people coming into Home Depot. 80s 3 horsepower miter saw. It's a Craftsman. Great for you. Where do I live? I live just south of you in Missouri. What's up, Backwoods? Surprised to see those sales at Home Depot. I was surprised too. I want Ryobi to stop ruining beginner woodwork childhoods. My first table saw, this is sad to say, my first table saw was a Ryobi job site table saw. It was so bad, like you would turn it on and you could watch the blade wobble because the arbor, that is the piece that the blade sits on, was bad. And I got it new. And from the first day, wobble. And I almost lost a finger to it one day. And I was like, okay, I'm done. Just admitting it. Like, my fault partially because I was not paying a whole lot of attention. I had somebody talking to me as I was doing this, and I kind of looked away for a second to answer their question. As I did that, the piece kicked, and I almost lost a finger. Had I not had my hand over their rip fence, and thank God I got huge hands. If I did not have my hand over their rip fence, I probably would have lost that finger. So, my fault, but such a bad tool, I wouldn't get it. This is just my experience. Now, you might have different experience with Ryobi. That's great. I'm glad for you. The minute I could upgrade my table saw, I did. I have had the same table saw for the last 7 years now. It's a Delta. I ain't never getting rid of it because I love the damn thing. Ryobi isn't as bad as everyone says they are. No one said they're bad. But for the price point that they're charging for their HP1 Plus, for the price point, the value isn't there. If the value isn't there, then you should not buy those tools. If you want to stick to their lower end for the homeowner, the DIYer, great, no problem. Stick to it, love it. Do what you need to do. But when they start putting in that they're trying to compete or trying to make it into that pro level, their tools need to make a major step up. Problem is, if you make a major step up, your price point no longer matches your brand. That's exactly what's happened to that HP One Plus. Their price point no longer matches their brand. They're trying to be more than they are. What they're doing with it, I'll be honest with you, not impressed. They're not professional level. They're not even serious DIY level. They're just DIY level. Ryobi's still the brand that you use to maintain a home. Ridgid, build a home. Milwaukee, Dewalt, build a business. Keep that in mind. That's exactly what I'm saying. Impact Nation will sell Ryobi impact wrenches are decent. Cool. I might be in the minority, but I think Bosch is a 12 volts is a solid line. It is, but it's not a very extensive line. And they're doing a whole refresh, remodel on it. So we'll see where they go. I actually prefer the 12 volt Bosch installation driver over the M12. Man, that's scary. Think of all the boogers. There you go. Shaka is upset because we hurt his feelings about Ryobi, so he's off crying. What state do you live in and what town? I live in Missouri. Budsville. What's up, buddy? Is the Flex the redheaded stepchild? No. No. Cobalt. As far as the Chervon brand, Cobalt is the redheaded stepchild. Since Flex came out, you haven't seen any real innovation, any new tools coming into that Cobalt line. Their 40 volt stuff for their OP is the same that they've had for the last several years. The XTR line has not grown. It's actually rather dated or out of date by now. So I would say that definitely Cobalt is the redheaded stepchild of the Chervon line. Flex is kind of their new shining star. They're the guys that they want to have do well. Skill is their Ryobi level, kind of Master Force, Ryobi, same thing. This kind of their entry level, get your feet in the door, get your feet wet line. I never really recommend the lowest end of stuff. I always say get the best bang for your buck, and that would take you away from Cobalt. What is this? Anyone interested in the new Ridgid new drawer pack out? Evan, I just did a video on it. I've done like 2 videos on it, as a matter of fact. I absolutely love that thing. I like my Dewalt. Cool. I like Dewalt too. Ryobi sales would increase 100% if they would get rid of that ugly green, ugly pastel green. Well, they were blue, orange, or blue, red, and yellow before, and they sold like trash. So I don't know that it's the coloring. I'd only buy Ryobi if it was 40 volt gardening equipment. It's excellent. All right. It's insane how many drills are on the market nowadays. Yeah. Budsville, I don't know if you're aware of this, but I have personally tested the power, the torque of 60, 65, 60 something different drills. Cobalt might be getting a refresh since XTR Compo has dropped to 200. I don't know. They're just not selling. You had a YouTube short a while back that you said you choose from the comment section to give away 2 Milwaukee. That is true. So the reason I have not done that yet is because I have not felt well. I have tumors in my abdomen, including my liver, that are kind of affecting my day-to-day, and I just haven't gotten to it, but I will. Flex killed Cobalt XTR. Yeah, Peyton. Yeah, I'll get to it. The Ridgid drawer video was great. Thank you, sir. Ryobi scares me. I want to repeat that the Ridgid subcompact combo is pretty nice. It is true. I like the fact that I was ahead. Can I purchase the Bosch circular saw, track saw adapter on the plate? Cool. I've watched a bunch of your videos. Just got done watching the 12-volt battle. Not really a battle if there's Makita involved. That stuff is trash. It's just a slaughter. No, you're good, dude. Don't worry about it, Peyton. I use my Ridgid every day. It holds up to Dewalt just fine. I don't want to talk about Milwaukee. Just depends. Yeah, it's we got to try to see if I'm going to live through the next surgery. That's the biggest deal right now. There is no healing this type of tumor using anything. They have to cut it out. That's the only thing they can do. And I'm just waiting to hear back. So there you go. Let's not spread my business around because I get enough people calling me fat. What they don't know is that there's just a mass, like I have a bunch of tumors in me that are preventing me from doing a whole lot of stuff. I love the Dewalt saw. Oh, the recip saw, yeah. Brushless power tool combo, a safe kit or soft kit case. $99 at Lowe's. Cool. I had a brain tumor operated last year and still around. Be strong. Comment Z, man. Dude, prayer for you, man. God bless you. Love you. Todd Maurer popped in by chance and needed to hear that. God bless you, Todd. Thank you, sir. I appreciate you. Bought the 12-volt Milwaukee combo yesterday. It's incredible. Manager even threw in a 5 amp hour high output because 2.5 out high output was out of stock. That's awesome. With the Dewalt naming, just cheap versus good. Just in, we talked about that earlier. Dewalt is a company, they kind of lost focus. They're selling some of their older stock because they were overstocked from poor sales. That's just the fact of the matter. I want to say the last 3 years, this is saying something because, most of these companies are making like major dollars right now. Stanley Black & Decker, as far as the Dewalt brand, they have shown no growth for 3 years. Zero. It's just flatline. Stanley Black & Decker is a company for 21, 22, we'll see about 23, but for 21 and 22 at least, the only growth that they were able to show was from acquisitions of other companies, other brands, where the brand name carried more value than the sales, if that makes sense to you guys. So looking at that and looking at kind of the Dewalt pattern, like I said earlier, I think they've got between 7 and 9 different hammer drills on the market right now. Those are just hammer drills, the little handheld hammer drills. They have between 7 and 9. And that's just in their 20-volt lineup, not counting the 12-volt. And when you look at those, you're like, at least 4 of those are the same, just a different number. Well, why do they have that? And then there's the Atomic, the Compact, and their brushless line, which are in essence the same tools. The 840 and the 845, the difference between those seems to be a speed selector. DeWalt is a brand that kind of trouble me because I love them. Like, I love their tools. I love using them. I think they're comfortable. I think they're powerful, they're progressive, they're fast. But you get into that area where you're like, what's the difference between these? And even I'm a serious tool guy. I do this for a living. I look at this stuff for a living. And I look at it and I'm just like, why? Why would I buy this? I don't have that issue with other brands. Other brands is pretty cut and dry. But the Dewalt is so all over the place with their stuff. It just doesn't make a whole lot of sense to me. And I would love to see them focus. Maybe get back to what they did. Gonna put that baby to use. It's probably my favorite. It's not probably. It is my favorite impact driver from Dewalt. I love that little 840. You are too as crude as I am, Rodney, you liar. I don't want to pay the extra couple hundred for the X and get barely anything more. Dude, yeah, I got you. People like you make a difference in life for people around you. Thank you. Yeah, that's true. So, well, we're out of here, dudes. We're done. Time for us to hit the old hayride. I crush Ridgid daily with the Metabo HPT. You look better in a Santa hat, sir. And you have the figure to match. So with that, we're out of here. Gentlemen, I appreciate y'all showing up. Thank you very much. As you go into the new year, remember, if you're single, use the 5 Fs. If you're married, sorry. And if you want to go viral in 2024, there are 3 ways to do it. 1, be one of the guys at the revolving door outside of Taylor Swift's bedroom. 2, be Cat Williams and get called a walrus. 3, tell dudes the truth about their tool brand. And if you don't know, for all you Makita guys out there, don't forget, blow them like you know them.